versus other forms of higher education would be open access and affordable. That's a common part of the community college mission, open access and affordable. So everything is under that umbrella to me within community colleges. We certainly do all these things here at Laramie County Community College: transfer programs, VOTEC programs, remedial coursework, continuing education, and we strive to serve our community. So that to me is a universal mission statement for community colleges. Particularly our mission statement. Everybody's read it. Laramie County Community College engages minds, inspires individuals, transforms lives, and strengthens communities through the power of learning. And then you can also read our vision statement. Laramie County Community College empowers our community of learners to achieve their personal, academic, and professional goals by providing a collaborative teaching and learning environment. So how does athletics and recreation support the mission of the college? Here we go. Here's the good stuff. Engaging minds. Fitness, recreation, athletic competition all create a healthier body and in turn a healthier mind. Research would back that up, that those people, that you're healthy in body, you're healthier in mind, you're more engaged. That's the science behind it. But we all know that students who are more attached to the college through other means rather than just their attendance in class, their participation in extracurricular activities, their participation in athletics, their participation in intramural sports, their participation in clubs and teams, they are more apt to be retained and they are more apt to succeed. So athletics and recreation are just another one of the tools that we can use as a college to increase the engagement of our student body. And it's a popular one. Everybody in this room, I would bet, is a consumer of athletics and recreation. You know, everybody that owns a pair of Nikes is a consumer of athletics or recreation. Everybody that watches ESPN, everybody that you know, golfs. I mean, so it's a very popular way to engage your community, engage your student body. Participation in fitness, recreation, athletic activities help create a bond between the college and the individual. I should have read that before I just went on that spiel, because that's what I just said. Helps to create that bond. Inspiring individuals. How does athletics, or how will athletics and recreation at LCCC support the college's mission and vision when it comes to inspiring individuals? The thrill of athletic competition. If anybody was in the gym Saturday night, you experienced that. You were inspired, I would think. I was inspired. It was inspirational. Dr. Schaefer was inspired. I saw him on video jump out of his shoes when we hit the buzzer beater. So it inspires you. Athletic competition is inspiring. Whether you're participating in it as a team member or you're viewing it as a fan. Okay, we're all consumers of this stuff. All of us are consumers of this stuff, and it inspires us. That's why we're attracted to it. The joy of recreation. That's inspirational. There will be, no doubt, we will hear this next semester. The main reason I came back is because I had so much fun playing flag football and beating the faculty staff team. Somebody will come and tell us that next year. Somebody will be inspired to stay here, to continue in college because, hey, they enjoyed their recreational experience. The satisfaction of reaching a fitness goal. Again, as someone who's gone up and down the fitness scale, you know, I know when I do achieve a fitness goal, I'm pretty inspired. So, inspired to do even more. When I'm on an exercise kick and losing weight, I tend to show up a little earlier for work. I tend to do a little more around the house. I tend to, you know, do the dishes. I mean, I'm inspired when I'm on one of my fitness kicks. Right now, I'm not on one. Um, um, but as soon as the basketball season's over, I will be on a fitness kick. So, okay, so how does athletics, or how will athletics and recreation here transform lives? Again, how transformative is it that you engage in a workout regimen and you avoid a heart attack, or you lose 20 pounds? I mean, how transformative is that to you? The beautiful thing about physical fitness is you get to see the transformation literally in the mirror, and not only see it and feel it. So recreational and fitness opportunities, I've kind of broke these down into three categories: fitness, recreation, and athletics. But physical fitness is very transformative emotionally, mentally, physically. You know, that's a kind of a no-brainer in my book. So recreational programming. How will recreation transform lives? Again, I think about my own life, and you know, probably my first introduction to the game of basketball was my dad wanted to get me out of the house in the summer, and he sent me over to Pullman, Washington, to Washington State University's basketball camp. And that was it. I mean, and so that introduction right there transformed my life. I didn't know that I would end up with a career in basketball at the age of 7 or whatever I was, and I didn't know I would end up in athletics and recreation and these things, but it just transformed my life. And educationally speaking, it's not where I started either. I think I told the committee, you know, I started out as an engineering major, ended up a basketball coach. So, you know, it came back around. It transformed my life in so many ways. So, intercollegiate athletics. This is a tough one for me, transforming lives. I was thinking, how does athletics transform lives? And so, indulge me here. I'll share with you a text message I got Sunday. How athletics changes lives. Tough one for me to read here. Maybe I will. Here's the text message. Coach, I want to say a big thank you for everything you've done for me. You have impacted my life so positively this 2 years, it's unexplainable. You have been a fatherly figure away from home. I want you to know I will never forget all the things you did for me. Thank you, Jason, and God bless. I won't share with you who sent that text message, but everyone who's coached has got one of these text messages. You know, I have about 140 Facebook friends. I counted them yesterday. 62 of them are former friends. The rest are all high school people. High school people I haven't seen in 25 years. But, you know, I would like to think that athletics, has a unbelievable effect to transform lives. I mean, the person that sent me this text message, obviously, I think I had an impact there. And unfortunately, you don't get to see that every day as you go along. I probably was yelling at that person severely the night before, but he thought enough of me to send that text message on Sunday. So, you know, it's just, you know, it's a hard one for me to talk about without getting choked up and emotional. So I'll move on. Strengthen communities, internal and external communities. How will athletics and recreations strengthen our internal community, the campus, and our external community, Cheyenne and Laramie County and Albany County? Well, healthier living through physical fitness. That strengthens your community. Healthier living, longer life, happier life through physical fitness. We have the ability here to impact a lot of people. We have a wide variety of facilities, a lot of programming that we can do, and a lot of programming we do, a lot more we can do. We can draw in a lot of people and make a positive impact on their physical fitness. And that's going to strengthen our community. both on campus, off campus, through both fitness programs and recreation programs. We've got a great opportunity with recreational programming for students. We just started touching on it with intramural sports. That's just one form of programming that we can do to impact the lives of students, intramurals. There's other things we can do. Faculty and staff programming, youth programming. There's a huge void in this community for youth programming. Huge. I think the college can fill that void. I think we can do it. Other adult programming. There's obviously a large market of people that we're not serving or that we could serve with adult recreational programming. And then I've touched on it before, sports entertainment. We are all consumers of sports entertainment, most of us, I should say. How does that strengthen our community? Well, entertainment is an important part of every community. You know, I mean, if you're in a small town, if you live out in Torrington, you're looking for things to entertain yourself. There's things in Cheyenne. There's arts things. There's cultural things. We have frontier days. We have a lot of things. Sports programming is sports entertainment is one of the things that we can offer this community to make it a better community. So, how will we accomplish this the next 5 years? I think the topic said your first 5 years, but I'm going to go ahead and say the next 5. Facilities. When you talk about fitness, recreation, you're talking about two things. You're talking about access to facilities and programming. Access would be access to time, space, and equipment. Okay? So in the short term, I've actually gone beyond 5 years, but in the short term, I think the first thing we need to do, and some of this is already established, is define our current customers and identify new customers and examine their needs. Time, space, and equipment. What's the latest trends in equipment? Have we got it? You know, what's the new thing out there? Are we meeting the needs? When does recreation happen? Well, mostly it happens nights and weekends. Okay, how late is it? I think through the intramural program, what we're finding out is students are willing to work out and recreate pretty late. We're going till 11 o'clock with intramurals, and it's packed at 11 o'clock. Yeah, we got to run them out. So, hey, maybe that's where we need to go. We need to go later in the day, open more hours. So, but the time of the day is just one piece of the equation when you talk about access. So then once we define our customers, identify new customers, examine their needs, we need to create a schedule that best meets the needs of the customers. I would advocate that we're probably, with the increase in programming we're doing, we probably need to look seriously at a block scheduling in the facility. We've talked about it before, we've not gone to it, but we're getting to that point where we have so many programming things going on that we need to block out times and reserve times for certain activities. And that's what goes on, because customers need to know when it's available. And right now, between classes and athletics and recreation and intramurals, I'm not sure customers know when they can access what facility, what room, what area. So we need to get a little more focused, a little more organized on that. And then in the next 0 to 3 years, we need to look at, are there spaces that we could reconfigure and or retask to meet our needs. In the medium term, I think we're looking at some possible facility renovation or expansion. And I think in the medium term, we need to look at other opportunities within the community. Cheyenne Recreation Center, it's been on the last 2 six-penny ballots, hasn't passed. Is it time for the college to partner up with the community and try to get that facility built on this campus. Might be. Might be. I still look at Story Gymnasium and I say, look, there's a facility, I think not so long ago the school district had it up for sale basically. Anybody who would take on the maintenance, you could have it. I think from an athletic standpoint, Cheyenne should be the epicenter of Region 9. I look at Story Gymnasium as the ideal neutral court facility for volleyball tournaments, basketball tournaments. And so I look at, you know, that maybe trying to do some partnering there and utilize that facility, which is largely unused aerobics classes, I think. Long term, 6+ years. I have a aggressive timeline. 6 years is probably not long term for a lot of people, but according to the master plan, we're talking about an athletic event center. If we're able to do some things before that, maybe we don't need an athletic event center in 10, 15, 20 years. So, but long term, that's certainly on the plan. Okay, so programming. So we've got facilities or access, programming. How will we accomplish all this in the next 5 years? Recreation fitness programming. We've begun an intramural sports program. We will continue to expand it, evaluate it, expand it, change it, whatever the market bears. Seems like flag football is pretty popular. Youth programming. This is a market that we on the athletic and recreation side, we're not taking advantage of. SEEK has given us a roadmap. Parents will bring their kids out here. We can flood this campus all summer long with kids. And kids come with parents. So you kill two birds with one stone, so to speak. You get a lot of people involved. So in the next 5 years, if I were the athletic director, you could guarantee you'd see a big increase in youth programming. Plus, there's a huge need. There's a reason that Cheyenne Rec Center has been on the ballot the last 2 6-penny tax elections, because there's a big part of this population that's screaming for facilities for kids to work out in. They seem to forget that the college exists. We've got to let them know the college is here and we have programming for you. Faculty and staff. I think when you talk about, you know, we've got a large offering of physical education activity courses, but not everybody wants to have to take a test at the end to get the benefit of that programming. So I think there's some things we could do. I've talked to Greg Flores. He's teaching a weight training class. What about a non-credit situation where we had a weight training club? You know, organize a club for people that want to work out. Or Trent Morrell get a running club. Warren Lemrick, a swimming club. So I think there's certainly some things we can do programming-wise that for faculty and staff. And then the adult community in Cheyenne as well. Again, I think there's ways to engage them with programming with those types of clubs and other clubs, I like clubs. So intercollegiate athletics. What are we talking about in the next 5 years? We can't forget to strengthen our existing programs. I know we want to work towards new programs, women's basketball, but there's work to be done with the existing programs. One area is assistant coaches. That's a huge benefit to our programs that we have, the assistant coaches we have, but working towards full-time assistant coaches for each of the sports would be phenomenal. So there's definitely ways and things we need to do to strengthen existing programs. When you talk about new programs in the next 5 years, I think you're talking about women's basketball. No question. I think we're close. we can talk about it. I'm sure I'll get some questions about it. So how do we accomplish all this? Development. That's going to be the key to certainly the financial needs of strengthening programs and adding new programs. The goal of our development should be to reduce our reliance on the general fund. But I think that we should, as an institution, be focused about what we're going to do with fundraised money. I think there are needs with current programs that we need to address with fundraised money. But there's also a need to reduce our reliance. So I think some formula will need to exist to where a certain percentage of every dollar goes into an operational fund to assist current programs, and a certain percentage of every dollar goes into a fund to reduce our reliance on the general fund. But definitely the goal of our development program should be to reduce athletics reliance on the general fund. Priority number one within that development program, grow the Golden Eagle Booster Club. How are we going to do that? We need to have a volunteer board of directors. 6, 8, 10, 12 people, committed individuals to lead us. Then we need to have a membership drive, probably involving some sort of kickoff event. I've got this idea in my head of a casino night. I went to a casino night last spring. It was awesome, and I thought, wow, this would be a great Booster Club event. Everybody does golf tournaments. Let's do a casino night. So we get a volunteer board of directors. We ask the volunteer board of directors to invite 10, 15, 20 of their most influential friends to casino night. We wine and dine these people, and we hold out our hand as they walk out the door at the end of the night and see if we can sign some people up. So I think that's my next step for this, and that to me is something that happens this summer. We spend the spring and early part of the summer developing the framework for a booster club and a board of directors, and by the end of the summer, start of the fall, we have a kickoff event and a membership drive. Part of our development program, we need to increase our campus and community involvement. I believe over the last 6 years, we've built, developed a good product. We have good student athletes that perform well on the court, that perform well in the classroom, that by and large behave well. I think we have a product that we can put out there and sell, basically. And it's time to do that. We need to get on campus more. We need to get off campus more. We've got to put those student athletes and coaches out there and let them sell the institution for us. Maximize marketing and promotion opportunities. I think certainly there's some things that we can do through marketing and promoting to help. We're not doing all we can do with webcasting, social media. The things we're doing are good, but we can do more, and I think a full-time athletic director can drive the bus on that. I was talking to the committee and Ty from PR, and we need to deliver more content to the PR office. We need to deliver more content for our website. We need to deliver more content for our publications. We need to beat the streets and develop better relationships with the media outlets in town. I joke that I need an expense account because I think I need to buy some lunches and take some people out to lunch and beat the streets, shake some hands, and we need to be more forefront with the newspaper, the radio stations. We need to have our games broadcast, all of them. Whatever we have to do, we have to find one of these radio stations that will get us on the radio. We've got to break into the market, so to speak. And then finally, cultivating partnerships and sponsorships. I think this is an opportunity. It's not the greatest opportunity as far as business sponsorships and and partnerships, but it's an opportunity. We're doing some of it now, but I think we need to build some of these other things first before we really go after the corporate dollar. But the corporate dollar is out there. You can get the corporate dollar even at community colleges. You're not going to get the big corporate dollar, but you can get the corporate dollar at community colleges. Where Nike's not going to give us $10 million a year, but you know we can get some. So that's how we're going to do it in the next 5 years. Questions?
Test.
Put that on.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll do it. Sorry. Ready, I guess.
Okay. Oh, I'm live. Slipped that in my pocket.
I have a couple questions. First one is the ag and equine programs, the rodeo program and the show team are part of athletics here. Can you tell me about your experience with these types of athletic programs, and currently how do you support them and grow them?
Yeah, you know, my experience with ag and equine programs is limited to the last 6 years, and it's been a learning process for a good portion of that. You know, they're not like round ball sports. They're a little different. So been a learning process and learning about the business, and there's a lot of things behind the scenes, livestock contracts and buying hay and veterinary expenses. And I feel like, you know, for a couple, 2-3 years, I was reluctant or hesitant to really delve into the management support of those ag programs just out of sheer ignorance. But I feel like now I'm pretty up to speed on them, and I think it's time when there's a full-time athletic director, whoever that person is, that person needs to jump in head first, all the way, and properly support those programs, particularly rodeo. It's not received the support from the athletic director or the athletic department that it really should if it's going to really reach its potential. So that's, I think, something I've identified and talked to the committees about that I've spoken to today, that's going to have to be a focus.
Do you have any ideas for that?
You know, I think part of that is, you know, although I think I'm comfortable with some of the things, I'm still not an expert in it. And I think we need to there are some experts in the room, and there's experts in the community on rodeo, and we got to let them in, and we got to ask them their opinion. So we could be talking about some sort of a steering committee, and David and I have talked about this. Let some people in. A person like Holly. Holly, you rodeoed at Missouri Valley College. What made your experience great there? What did they do at Missouri Valley that we're not doing? And I think so, getting some advice from some experts in the field, Wayne, I mean, there's people on campus, there's definitely people in the community that are passionate about rodeo and knowledgeable about rodeo that can fill the void that I don't have. I think I know some commonalities of all successful programs, and I can give my assistance there, but there's some particulars I don't know. The other thing I know we need stables. You know, we have a great indoor facility, but I've said this a few times. I think that the kids would blow the roof off that arena and ride shirtless outdoors in the winter if they had a great place to board their horses. I mean, that's how much they care about those horses and how valuable those horses are to them. So I think that's something that as athletic director, I've got to become a thorn in the side for, and you know, hey, what are we doing on this? And I know that's in the works now, so maybe I'm behind the 8 ball, too late for that. But you know, that's something that definitely would be a topic that I think the athletic director should get involved in and really try to do to support those ag programs.
Obviously, being the facilities and events manager here and managing the master schedule, I have a daily contact with scheduling down there. 446 emails about PE scheduling since January. That's to and from, and that's a lot of scheduling. And so, yeah, I would love to see some things change and have that simplified a little bit. That would be awesome. Can you tell me, you were talking about scheduling, and I think you referred to me before that you've done some facility management. What's your experience with facility management and a facility that's basically academic, that has athletics, student, intramurals, student activities, community activities, all those things in there? How do you balance those priorities? And what's your experience?
Yeah, my experience is, you know, for 5 years at one of my stops, I was the manager of the Ore-Ida Sports Complex, Ore-Ida Potatoes. And that was a soccer, softball facility. It included our gymnasium and our baseball field, but the coaches for those sports kind of controlled the gym and the baseball field. So really I was mostly in charge of the soccer, softball complex. And I mean, I was in charge of everything from raking the field and lining the field to selling concessions and the whole deal. So certainly scheduling was part of it, scheduling our classes on there, scheduling our, you know, we had intramural programs, and we had a lot of state and community events at the Ore-Ida Sports Complex. We hosted, it's a funny thing, we were in Oregon, but we hosted Idaho State tournaments in Oregon because we had like the closest complex, so we were right on the border and across the river. So that, you know, that's my most formal experience. But I've been at some small schools, and a lot of times at small schools you kind of assume a lot of management even though it's not your job. So I've always had a hand in scheduling and managing facilities. And then of course, you know, my master's degree is in sports and recreation management, of which one of the classes was recreation facility management. So I've got some educational background in the area as well. Could you go ahead and reread the second part for me there?
How do you balance all the priorities, you know, between classes, athletics, student activities, campus activities,
Right,
community?
Well, yeah, everything's got to be built around the class schedule. So you start with that, and then, like I said, I think once we have a class schedule, then we need to go to a block system of, 3 to 6 is athletics, and athletics needs to make their activities happen within that block. Now, that's not to say that the whole facility is blocked for athletics from 3 to 6, but the areas that athletics needs. Athletics doesn't need the racquetball courts from 3 to 6, but whatever is going to be in there, the MPR, the gymnasium, those are the two biggest areas we use. Intramurals, okay, every Monday, Wednesday night, intramurals is blocked from 7 to 10. And then here's our blocks for recreational users, and we don't infringe on those blocks except for, I think, extreme cases, so that there's some consistency. You know, that users can come in and know, all right, this is the schedule, it doesn't change. I know that the pool is going to be open this time. I'm not going to come in and there's going to be the Warren Air Force guys doing dive training. That's got to go around the block. Those things got to go around the block. So community events, off-campus events have to go around the block. Now, certainly, we all know that there's some community events that will preempt the block, but okay. We need to just be very, very focused, very intentional about it.
Okay, thanks.
Welcome.
Hi, Jason. I
Hi.
have a question for you. As the athletic director, full-time athletic director, how do you strengthen the already existing booster club?
Yeah, well, I think that the athletic director has got to take, he or she has got to take the lead role in identifying prospects, recruiting prospects, making the ask, and stewardship. And right now, this athletic director is not taking the lead role. And that's not, you know, that's every athletic department across America. If the athletic director is doing his job, that's what he or she is doing. And I acknowledge that. That's a function of my job that has been pushed to the back seat or put on the back burner for whatever lame excuse I may have. But I acknowledge that moving forward, when I'm full-time or when somebody is full-time, that excuse, whatever excuses I have, don't exist. And so moving forward, I think that we've got to take that lead role, and it's going to have to be a collaborative effort. And I think the 4 entities that have really got to be all on the same page and focused are athletic director, foundation, PR, and president. You know, those are the 4 entities. Now there's others. I mean, that's not to say that, but those are the big. Yeah, yeah. Vice President of Student Services. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, go ahead.
Are you done?
Yeah, I can talk more if you want.
Okay. Hi. You, as the athletic director, you're going to wear many hats. This is a 2-part question. How are you going to balance wearing all those hats, and what is your management style? And then I do have another question.
Yeah, well, it's not like I'm unfamiliar with wearing many hats. You know, I kind of see this as there's part of what I do, part of what I've been doing as athletic director that will continue. But that's a small percentage of what I perceive the job to be. I think that it will be, I'm looking at it as a new job. I will have to go about things a new way. I will have to do new things. It's not just, okay, now I don't coach basketball and I just do what I've been doing every day for the last 6 years, minus the basketball. There's new activities that I need to take on. There's new way I need to go about business. I need to be, I think perception of me may be that I'm you know, a grumpy basketball coach. Well, I don't think that's who I am, but I need to change that perception. I need to become a better public figure and a better leader of the athletic department and break that perception that I'm a grumpy basketball coach who's mad because we lost the game last night. You know, so that's part of it. My management style, I would say I like to have good people and let them do their job. I'm not a micromanager. I like to say yes, but before I say yes, I ask why. Why do we need to do this? And if you know the answer is sufficient, then okay, yes, let's do it. Whatever that is, as an athletic director, hey, Jason, I need to jump on a plane and go down to Vegas, recruiting. Why? What's there? This actually happened a few weeks ago. Well, the biggest volleyball tournament in the United States is there. 900 girls in one city. All right, that makes sense. We probably need to go there. How much does it cost? So I like to say yes, but I'm not afraid to say no. But before I say yes or no, I always ask why. And generally speaking, I think we've got great people in athletics, and they know their business, and I don't have to look over their shoulders. So that's kind of my management style.
Okay. The other question I have is, you spoke about development, financial needs, reducing reliance on general fund, but you were keying in on athletics. There's some other entities involved with what you talked about developing. So how would you then finance those needs?
Yeah, you know, I think that youth programming piece, I mean, parents are willing to spend dollars for their kids to have recreational opportunities. And if we really amp up and do with youth programming what I think we can do, hey, you know, a portion of those dollars could be used towards a facility upkeep, a facility maintenance fund, which we have, okay, a portion for that. I still think when you talk about development and growing the booster club, typically boosters get some benefits with their booster club memberships. Usually it's preferred seating, preferred parking, and a golf shirt. Okay, we can give you the golf shirt, but we can't give you preferred seating. We can't give you preferred parking. Hey, maybe we can give you access to the recreation facilities. Maybe we take a portion of the Booster Club membership and put it into the facility fee. And we develop a pool of money to maintain, manage, and upkeep and upgrade the facility. So I think there's two revenue streams right there that are, I think, pretty significant. Could be pretty significant to do some things within the facility.
Hi, Jason. My name's Shar. I'm from Wingspan. I kind of have a question kind of from a couple of students that has wanted me to ask this. It's been rumored that certain athletic teams at LCCC receive full ride scholarships and some don't. If this were true, would you consider changing all athletic scholarships for every team based off of educational merit and athletic involvement?
Okay, every one of our athletic teams has the ability to award up to room, board, books, tuition fees. The coaches do what they have to do to field their teams. And in this regard, because none of our sports have 100% of the scholarship dollars they would like or that they're allowed to by rules, you got to play a little bit general manager. So where one coach may spread their money out to a larger number, another coach may focus more dollars and fewer athletes. So, but all of the coaches are free to distribute their money, their scholarship dollars in that manner. So that's a little bit of a misnomer to say some can and some can't. We all can, not all of us do. So can you repeat the second part there?
Well, it was just like, for example, if I know it's based off of coaches and what individual coaches can give scholarships to their players. But for instance, would you manage it where, say for instance, a soccer player with a 3.5 GPA who is a goalie and is one of the main goalies in the team, as opposed to, that doesn't have a full ride scholarship, as opposed to maybe a basketball player with a 2.0 scholarship that doesn't really play much in the team, and do you know what I mean? I don't.
Well, yeah, no, our scholarships are tied to academic performance already. So could we reevaluate our standards? Yeah, we could. We've already got academic standards higher here than the NJCA minimum. So I think that we've made some good steps in that regard of tying our scholarships to academic performance. But I don't think we want to compare. It's not apples to apples. Soccer's not volleyball. Basketball's not soccer or volleyball. Rodeo's not basketball. And so the discretion needs to lie largely with those coaches, what they need to do to field their teams. As an athletic director, to dictate dollars will be taken away from this athlete on this team and given to this one, that's, I don't see that as being very advantageous for the college.
Okay, thank you.
Just ask a follow-up on that. Sure. What is the academic standard for scholarships? What's the academic standard for scholarships here?
Yeah, oh boy. You're dealing with we have three different governing bodies we deal with. The NJCAA, NIRA, National Intercollegiate Rodeo Association, and IHSA, Intercollegiate Horse Show Association. The NJCAA manual is that thick and that big. So that's probably the one you really want me to ask about. The NIRA manual is that thick and it's a little pamphlet. So, but they have some academic requirements that are pretty close to the NJCAA, but the NJCAA has a lot more language. IHSA has no manual, no requirements on academic eligibility and things. So when it comes to horse show, those requirements are really set by the department, but Lene actually set standards higher than what we would set as a department. So I'll talk about the NJCA minimum requirements. Basically, it comes down to this. If you're getting a 2.0 and passing 12 credits a semester, you are academically eligible to compete. Now, we can give you a scholarship. We're allowed to scholarship you if you're academically ineligible. The rules allow that. We don't do it. So there's one, I guess, standard that we
But
go
we're
above
at
and beyond.
2.0.
2.0. Now,
Okay.
what our GPA requirement is to retain your scholarship, basically the NJCA says if you've got 2.0 with 24 credits passed, you are eligible to compete as a sophomore. We say we're not going to renew your scholarship unless you have a 2.25 with 28 credits. Because we don't feel like if we're just going by the minimums, 24 and 2.0, we're not getting you're not going to graduate on time. And so, not that 14 a semester gets you there, but if, say, you pass the 24 in your freshman year and you got 64, you still got 40 in your sophomore year. That's pretty tough. If you got to 28, you're left with what, 38, 19 and 19? No, you're left with 36. 18 and 18, okay, you're closer. I mean, if we really wanted to set it at a minimum, we would say, hey, you probably need a 2.5 with 30 credits passed. And in the original 5-year plan that I developed 5 years ago, that was a step that we talked about. We haven't gone to that step yet.
Okay, thank you. My next question is, coaches can distribute scholarship monies as they see fit. Does every sport get the same amount of money? Rodeo, basketball, volleyball, soccer?
No. Pretty close. The formula that we used to allocate scholarships was this. Again, the NJCA sports all have a mandate on the maximum number of people that can receive athletic aid. Now, so if you gave somebody $10, that's one. If you gave somebody 10,000, that's two. So for each of the NJCA sports, there's a limit. For rodeo and horse show, there's no limit. It's unlimited. So when it came to the NJCA sports, what we did is we took the maximum allowable number. I'll use basketball because it's 15. We're allowed to give 15 student athletes athletic aid. I multiplied that by, I think, 0.8. And then I rounded down to 12. Because 0.8, I think, gets you to, I got to 12. I can't remember how I did. Maybe it was 0.75. 0.8. And then I took the WUI rate of tuition at 15 credits and multiplied by 12. And I got a dollar figure. And I did that for each of the sports. 80% of the maximum number of scholarships allowed times the 15 credit WUI rate of tuition and fees. And everybody got basically a tuition and fee budget. Then, and now in the case of rodeo and horse show, I asked him, I said, David, what's your ideal roster size? He told me 20. So 0.8, I used 16. Lene told me the same thing, 20, I used 16. So I came up with tuition rate. And then I allotted 8 room and boards for 5 sports. Rodeo, horse show, rodeo, basketball, volleyball, men's and women's soccer. Didn't allow any room and board money for horse show. And added it all up, and there was the bottom line. And honestly, this is how this came out. I added all that up, knowing what the budget was, And when I added all that up, the first time it came up to within $10,000 of the budget. So I said, okay, great, got $10,000 left for cheer scholarships. So cheer has $10,000 allotted for that. So that's how you get it. Now I've asked David to use his room and board scholarships 50-50. So for men and women, he's been asked to use his scholarship budget 50-50. So but within that budget, that's how I came up with a dollar figure. But you can, if you wanted to use some of those dollars for more room and board, you're allowed to do that. It's just how I came up with a number. And the number is for the 5 sports, rodeo, basketball, volleyball, men's and women's soccer, the number is within $5,000 of each other. So they're pretty close.
I guess it's my turn.
Hi.
Hi, how's it going?
Good.
Good. You had mentioned about doing youth programming in the summer, and my question is, a lot of people maybe wouldn't worry so much about the summer because kids can be outside and they're more worried about youth programming for activities in the fall, spring, winter time. What ideas do you have with doing youth programming more year-round? I guess it's a 2-part question.
Yeah.
So the first part, and then the second part with being in our building with all that happening and then adding on youth programming, how would you balance all that out?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'd probably focus more on talking about summer because kids are out of school, but we're already doing some programming during the school year. We've got soccer academies and volleyball academies. Basketball-wise, we did a Christmas basketball camp, so we do some things during the school year. Certainly the holiday periods when kids are out of school, those are great times to do, short, finite timed events, camps and clinics. I think we're doing a reasonable job during the spring, at least, of offering some, those academies for soccer and volleyball. So there's more we can do. I still look at, and I know I was thinking of this the other day, Sunday, when I was out shoveling snow for the second time that day. I have an 18-month-old daughter. We take her to this place where they've got these inflatable things that you can jump on, and we pay $4. And I'm thinking, okay, why can't the college invest in some of those inflatable things, put them in the NPR on a Sunday afternoon when it's usually pretty dead, and I know it's available for families to come in now, but let's have something for them to do when they're in there, So I'm thinking, great, that's a great thing during the winter time, winter months, Sunday afternoons. We get some big inflatable jump on them things and advertise it and get them in there, and So I think there's things that we can do, and that's just me out shoveling snow for 20 minutes. I think there's probably people that have more ideas than just me. So definitely, I don't think that we're talking about just summer, but we do have some more constraints during the school year. We've got schools going, we have student users, we got a lot more stuff going, and athletics is going, and the coaches will be doing this stuff, and they've got, the fall is very busy, so it's managing everybody's schedules and the facility schedules and when kids are available.
Hi, Jason. I was just wondering, as the athletic director, how do you see yourself engaging yourself in this community to prepare yourself or put yourself in a position to make those financial asks of, community members, businesses here in town?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think, when I first got here, I was pretty gung-ho on that. I mean, Brenda took me around to every service organization that I could speak at, the Kiwanis Club. I was at the Sunrise, she's in the Sunrise Kiwanis Club. I went to the Sunrise Club and the Chamber of Commerce, and I was pretty gung-ho on that and lost that. It's one of those things that got in the back burner pretty much after we won 17 games in 2 years and lost 40-some. I realized I needed to give more attention to my coaching duties, and some of these things went in the back burner. But definitely getting out there in front of those organizations, joining those organizations, Those will be two pieces that I'll need to do. A lot of it, I think, is just good old-fashioned pound the pavement, shaking hands and kissing babies. I walk by Lisa's, the foundation office a lot, and I see Lisa's light out, and I know I need to be where she is. She's off campus. I need to be where Lisa is. And so there's, I think, some people that I can use to help me and get out there and get recommitted to that. So certainly getting in front of those service organizations, joining those service organizations, just beating the streets. I mean, if it's door to door, my wife's in sales, cold calling. I'm not beyond cold calling. And I know some people to hit. That's probably a bad word. I know some people to cultivate. There you go. And I just got to get out there and do it. And that's, I really look at this as, like I said, this is a new job. Some of what I've done will just be continuation. But 80% of, if I'm the person moving forward, it's going to be a new job. I've got to do things a new way and do new things in a new way.
Jason, I'm going to be a devil's advocate here, and you know I can be. How are you going to do that when you don't live in the community?
Yeah, that's it's a challenge, but it's not insurmountable. Where I live has not stopped me from getting to work one day. I have a job that's on nights and weekends. I don't see this moving forward as being a full-time athletic director. I don't see this as all of a sudden I have an 8-to-5 job. It's still going to be a 8 to 8 job. I'm going to have to be willing to stay extra hours, which is nothing new. I don't think it'll be a 8 to 2 a.m. job anymore, but 8 to 8. It just doesn't seem like a huge barrier to me because I'm here every day, and I'm willing to work long hours, and I'm willing to be here on holidays. I'm willing to be here on nights and weekends. That's nothing new. So, if the citizens of Cheyenne will have me, I'll be here. I spend more time in Cheyenne than I do anywhere else. So.
This is your chance.
Well, thank you very much for being here. You all have pink sheets that we ask for your feedback. The search committee would love to hear from you, just your comments, and we've given you a little bit of an outline of what we'd like, but feel free to put whatever helpful information on there that you might think we would be able to use. And so I want to thank you, Jason, for this time. We've enjoyed it very much, and if we can give Jason a hand. Thank you.
Thank you.